to submit that the future board meetings are set up with the layout submitted by Mr. Pearl.
I'll second that.
Discussion. I'll just add that, I'll tell you, the time I've been doing this, one, I like the idea that we're going to allow these people to have their free time because they deserve it and they've earned it, unless we need them. But we've had the Manchester superintendent come in, and as a courtesy, we say, gee, please come sit with us. You know, we're talking Hooksett School District tonight. Please come sit with us. So I'm not opposed to the configuration, but I'd say, gee, if we're talking good to great, and the assistant superintendent is coming in, my gosh, you know, let's afford her the same courtesy and have her sit with the board, and because I know it is a school board meeting, but you know we're the Hooksett School District, and that's all. I mean, I don't want to put us into a corner where we can't afford these courtesies. Though I mean, again, I'm not opposed to the configuration because I believe the end result will be we're gonna free up a lot of people's time. So that's where I'm at, Tricia.
I have in being on the Hooksett School Board for a year now, it is not typical at our second meeting from Becky Wing on to be at this meeting. Mm-hmm. So they're all still going to have to come to the first meeting because they present principal reports and we ask them direct questions. So you're saying now they're not all coming to do their principal reports, we're just going to read it and not ask questions. So we've eliminated collaboration with administrators in the school board. Is that my understanding?
Right, speak for the motion or answer that, your proposal, but they would still be here. It's just where they're gonna sit. You know, why not sit right here at a microphone where there won't be a microphone over there? Unless we buy 17 of them or something. But they would still be here when they need to be or want to be, but they could sit at a table with a microphone there, and just like as anyone else coming in. And I don't see why, with my motion, we can't make exceptions if the superintendent of Manchester and we decide we want to sit them here, or the assistant superintendent needs to be here specifically. I don't see why they can't sit there. But I think for most meetings, I think this is the way to go.
Mr. Chair?
Yep.
I think if you look at this configuration and the way we're sitting right now, the table would end right here. So the public input table would be perceivably right up here. I don't think it's going to be any discourteousness to set the superintendent of Manchester there. He is going to be talking face to face with everybody. In fact, whoever sits there completes the circle. And I think that's, you know, particularly if they have a microphone, yes, they would have their back to the audience, but, you know, I don't think that it would be I don't think we would be, I don't want to say it, not being respectful to a guest that we had if we had them sit at the table where they had a microphone, where they'd be properly recorded, they wouldn't have to squeeze in, and they have plenty of room to put out their paperwork and so forth. I think that would be the guest seat. And sometimes it would be occupied by the public, and sometimes it would be occupied by invited guests. Thank you.
Tricia?
I think I have two things. First, when the superintendent comes and he's sitting at the same table with us, it is a much different discussion than having him sit there where the audience cannot hear what he's saying. The two times that the superintendent has come, we have provided questions before. It's been a very collaborative effort, though the man's hands are completely tied by the Board of Mayor and Aldermen. It creates a dialogue of collaboration, which is very important. My other concern with this is, and I very much respect Dr. Littlefield's opinion that he could say that Karen Lassard and Marge not be here when they don't need to be, but I think them not being at the table does both of them a disservice. There have been many meetings over the last year that Marge has added great insight to what is being said and what is being discussed, because she sits on a majority of the committees that the superintendent does not sit on. If we have a question, she's at the table. She's the assistant superintendent. If Dr. Littlefield is not available for some reason, Marge is the person in charge. And I just think that is very disrespectful to Marge.
Mr. Chair? I would assume that if Dr. Littlefield was unable to attend, that the assistant superintendent would take the seat and represent the SAU at his seat if she was available. And I don't think that it's really going to be disrespectful for anyone to come up if we have a table, just like ours, with a microphone, they will be able to be heard. I was here the last time Dr. Brennan was here, and we had trouble hearing him. And it, you know, I think a lot of that's going to be solved by the microphone situation. So to me, I think it makes it, it's also a system that can be upscaled as much as you want, because if Dr. Littlefield needs 10 people to come speak, each one comes to the table. We don't need to change the configuration or adopt it or anything like that, and we're focused on that person at that time, right here, you know, like where we can all talk to each other. So I think it's got a lot of positives. I would also say that it is something that I would hope that we could try, because we are a board, we're fluid. We could vote to change this at another time. If we have a couple meetings like this and there's some problems with it or something, you know, we could go back to the way it is. I don't see that we're locking ourselves into something forever.
Okay. We have a motion. We have a second. Any further discussion? Okay, all in favor of approving the motion as presented, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
I got a 2-3.